There we are. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show on Damon Looks. So, guys, I have a returning guest. He's been now on all my networks. This young man is absolutely incredible. Okay, his name is Ricardo Richard. Okay, I'm going to actually introduce him and let him tell you a little bit about himself. So, Ricardo, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everybody.
So tell everyone who you are.
So I'm Ricardo Richard, and I'm an actor, writer, upcoming director, and I have a series on YouTube. It's called Hurt People, Bitter and Broken, the series. But on YouTube, you can just use the subtitle, which is Bitter and Broken Web Series. So we have season 1 and season 2 up now, and I would love for you guys to check it out.
So, you have been on all of my networks. And now you also have your own radio show, correct?
Yes. I'm so excited.
So tell everyone about that.
Okay, so I'm actually interning. So I have actually a show upcoming March the 1st at 9:30 with an actress that I know. Her name is Dorothy Myers. I had the preview working with her on some previous projects. So I'm excited to kind of interview her, and she's kind of been somebody in my life that kind of had pushed me, when there were times in my life where I felt not as inspired, and I kind of felt like I didn't know necessarily if I had the willpower or the talent to do it. And she was one of those people that I met along my journey, the acting journey, that's just always was like, you can do this, And she's actually from the same city I'm from, and she's just a blessing. So I can't wait for people to get a chance to hear from her. And she's so humbled, and yes, I just can't wait for you guys to hear that interview on March the 1st.
So, you know what I want you to do? I want you to tell everyone what inspired Hurt People, Hurt People.
What inspired my series?
Yes.
I want to again thank you for this opportunity. Whenever I get an opportunity to talk about the series, I'm so grateful, and every time I get an opportunity, I kind of feel like I kind of breathe new life into my best friend, and I truly believe in that God to get the glory out of all our lives. And I still feel like he's getting glory out of his. So the series came about was my best friend, if people don't know, he passed away in 2015, a little over 5.5 years. This year, I make 6 years in May the 30th. He passed away, and after he passed away, I was just going through the emotions and depressed, overwhelmed. This was like my best friend, my brother. When he passed away, I just decided that I just felt there were things in my life that I wanted to do, but because of fear, I didn't do it. So I went to school and, and got a regular job and did a 9 to 5. And there were so many things that was on the inside of me that I wanted to do. And that was there, I didn't access it. Like, I just feel like it's dreams in everybody. And I want to say this before I continue. I was listening to it, I think, from somebody, or I was writing down, driving the other day, and it reminded me that when I leave here on earth, I want to make sure that I leave empty. I believe there is so many dreams in all of us, and it's so unfortunate that so many people, pass away and they die with their dreams. So it's just so important for me to, when God decides to call me home, that I completely leave empty, that I accomplished everything that I want to do, and most importantly, everything that he wants me to do. So with that being said, it kind of took my best friend passing for me to really truly do not just a good thing, but a God thing, and to do this series. And it came about, I got a couple of characters, people that I knew. I wrote. I didn't exactly know what I was doing at first. I'm still learning. And the next thing you know, I felt like everything was just in front of me. I just had to access it. But it's easier said than done. I definitely got discouraged at times. But I was just so determined to do this project, and I wouldn't let anything keep me from doing it. And then next thing you know, with time and us coming together, we really, I think I had the most fun during season 1 because it was new. It was something new for all of us, and we spent time with each other, so we bond. We build relationships that will last a lifetime. And I'm just so grateful to God that He was able to do something new, in me, And when I did it, nobody from where I'm from did something like that, a series. So I was just so grateful that I had the opportunity of doing it. And
so, I want to say something about something that you said that I think is absolutely incredible. You said it wasn't just good, it was God. And then you said you want to leave here empty. And from a writer's perspective and an author and a poet myself, I might use those words. I think I'm going to put them in a poem, kiddo, because that is profound. Okay. I've done pretty much everything on my bucket list, almost everything, jumping out of planes. I mean, whatever. I've done mostly everything, but I never thought about what you said. So I can use that now, and I'm going to make a poem.
Okay.
I'm going to reference you as well. Yes.
Yes.
I am. So let's talk a little bit about us meeting and a little bit about what's happened since. So you reached out to me one night, and it was beautiful. We didn't even know each other, and your friend passed away, and you were sad, and you saw me on Facebook with my show and whatever, and you reached out to me, and that was beautiful. And I thank God for that all the time, Ricardo. And then I've had you on all my networks. You have been on now every one of my 5 networks. Okay. And now you're going to be doing your own show on O&E. And that is under Damon, or that's under Damon, right?
Yes.
Because O&E is the umbrella for Beverly Nation, Damon Network, and now Damon Looks as well. And I was actually the first host to do a Damon Looks show. And I do them once a month, guys. And this is Damon Looks, and this is an incredible platform as well. O&E is off the charts with this stuff. It's great. So you're now going to be a host, which is incredible. You were I'm going to tell the story again. Ricardo was my very, very first radio show guest on O&E. I'm on Beverly Nation. And something happened. At first, I was a little concerned about it, but it ended up being a huge blessing. Ricardo had to do the interview in his car for unexplained reasons, but he had to do it in his car. So there was a lot of background noise. And unfortunately, Looking Glass asked to take it down. So we had to take that interview down. And that was my first one on O&E. So when Brother Olasky called me and said, "I'm sorry, Geri, but we have to take that down," I was a little upset and nervous about that. And then years later, 3 years later, actually, because that was in 2016. 2019, I was nominated to be in the Internet International Hall of Fame for radio show host. And along with Brother O, and he won for DJ, and I actually was enshrined as well that year with him. I won for radio show host. And once all the voting was over, I was able to hear what some of the voters from the different countries said, the leaders that were involved. And one of them said that they voted for me, Ricardo, because of that first show. Because, yes, they said I could have just said, "I'm done." And not only did I not, look at what I've done since. So I want to thank you for that, because that was an incredible thing. So I'm saying that to let people know, and we're going to talk about this because this is part of what you talk about as well. We should never look at experiences in our lives that we thought were disastrous as disastrous, because those are the experiences that are going to build us into the people we are today, as long as we follow God into doing it. Correct?
Absolutely.
So, I think you know how I feel about you. I think you're incredible. You're talented.
Thank you.
You're unbelievable to me. I love you. And we've gotten to
Yeah.
meet, and you've been, like I said, on all my shows, and I've gotten to hug you. So tell everyone out there a little bit about series 1, and then
Mhm.
let's talk about series 2.
Yes. Oh God, I'm so excited.
I
Series
love,
one.
wait, I have to say this. I am interrupting him. I don't interrupt usually, but did you just hear like his tone of voice just change? You just got so excited. So let's hear it, baby.
I'm so excited anytime I get a chance to have the opportunity, of course, talking to you. And again, I want to thank you always, for looking out and believing in this project, and I appreciate you, and I believe that, definitely, I'm grateful because you're a part of my story,
I love you.
and I'm so appreciative. So season 1, was, oh my goodness, it was just such a blessing. And season 1 is like my baby, and I learned a lot during season 1, bumped my head a couple of times, and it was just such a pleasure to really. It was very, very therapeutic for me. So season 1 is about 3 central characters, but it's different characters. But the 3 central characters is Brashear. So Brashear is a character who's a people's pleaser, and he has a girlfriend, and he also has a father that's a pastor, and he just feels like he kind of feels like, torn in the middle. His girlfriend in season 1, she's kind of upset with God because she had a stillborn baby, and she kind of hates God, and he's just still trying to hold on to his faith. And then his father is just someone who's just really overly religious. So I think I describe him as more of a modern day Pharisee, because although he claims to love God, he doesn't show any really compassion in his heart towards his son, and I think that it was important to show that I wasn't necessarily trying to call anybody out, but I think it's important for me, who've gone through ups and downs of my relationship with Christ, and recently rededicating my life to God. It's just so important for us to show the love of God. Not You don't have to condone, people's lifestyles and what they do, but it's so important to just love people. And I believe that's what Christ stood for, and who God is. God is love. So it's just important to love, because I feel like love, it conquers a multitude of sin, and love is going to bring us through. So he just felt so judged by his father, and their relationship, it was just up and down, and he was just trying to find out who he was. And then he had a relationship, which was very similar to the relationship I had with my best friend. My character name is Amar. He's struggling with alcoholism, and my friend was struggling with alcoholism. And last night, I was praying, and my friend who struggled with alcoholism, he passed away. And somebody who I got to know these last couple of months, who had recently passed away from addiction, and his mother had found him, passed away, and I got a chance to know him these last couple of months, and it made me realize in my heart that it's so many people that's passing from addiction. It's young people who have dreams and who God want to use, but the enemy also, are also, he's rolling around like a seeking lion, trying to destroy, the purposes and plan that God has. And it reminded me that I'm going to continue to press and continue to, just to pray and continue to just do the will of God. And when I get down and out, to just make sure that I rely on God. And that, again, I want to leave here on empty. So the last character is also Bree. She's been in the system her whole life, and she's just trying to find out who she is. And through life circumstances, she realizes that she's lost, and she wants answers. So all 3 characters, they know each other, and my character eventually, not to say too much, but we're in season 2. I wanted my character to go to rehab because I couldn't save my friend. And I felt like through his life, if I could, anybody watching the series, if I can save somebody's life through my storyline, then it was all worth it. it was all worth it. My Bashir character also was struggling with his sexuality, and if it could save someone's life as well. In the last episode, he had a knife to his throat. He didn't feel loved, and a lot of people that's in that lifestyle, they don't feel loved, or they feel alone. So it was important for me to show that as well. And people who might have been adopted, and don't know where they go, it was important for me to tell her story, for her to keep looking and to not get discouraged. And sometimes right when you think that things is over, God shows up. So at the end of season 1, you see that she believes that she found, where she's looking for, her mother. So that's how season 1 ends. And season 2, oh my goodness, season 2 was my sophomore season. I changed a little bit of the narrative. I got the opportunity to work with these 3 amazing kids, the Brown brothers. Archie Benjamin, he did amazing.
And I got to meet them, correct?
Yes, you got a chance to meet them. And you got a chance to,
interview them.
All.
Yes.
And I believe at the time you met them, we were actually working on season 2.
Yes.
So it wasn't out yet. And they were a little bit younger now. It's so crazy because they're 15 and 16 now. When they started the show, they were like 11, 12, So they've grown actually throughout the series. But Archie character is a character. His name is Corey Brown. He's 1/3 of the Brown brothers, and you have Jordan Brown and you have Tristan Brown. So season 2 picks up with the 3 Brown brothers, and it picks up where episode 4 leaves off. So Jordan Brown is gunned down by a police officer in the alleyway, and the other brother, he literally has to run. And I know that it probably was a lot to watch, but these are things that happen, in our communities, where it's unfortunate, but, African American men, are being murdered, within their own communities, within their own race, and as well as, by police officers. So it was so important for me to show that in the series, as well as educate the young characters. So these were conversations that we actually had in real life. So it was important for them to, to see, just what's going on in the world. That it was just a real powerful scene, and it was really important. And so season 2, it takes you on the life of these 3 characters. It shows the life of the characters before the little boy was gunned down. Like what happened? Why did this little boy get gunned down in the alleyway? Like what was his life before then? So you find that these 3 brothers, they don't have any parental guidance. So for me, it was important as a creator to have characters that if any race was to watch these characters, that they wouldn't judge the characters. Because sometimes in life, we don't always know why people do the things that they do. So I think with these characters, you see them, doing things that they shouldn't do, but then you understand why. Even if you don't necessarily understand it or agree, you'll say, okay, we see into their lives and we understand. And that's why it was so important for me to show people that this was their hurt. This was the cross that they had to bear. 3 kids growing up in an urban city, and not having a mother, and not having a father. They're just trying to figure it out. And we're so sad and unfortunate. I'm also a teacher too, so a lot of times you don't know what kids are going through when they're home, and what they have to live through. And I can only imagine even now what these kids are going through now, with the pandemic. Sometimes school is people outlet, especially with the kids, it's their safe haven. Teachers are, kind of like their parents away from their own parents, a home away from home. So you had these kids still getting up and going to school and making things happen and doing what they had to do, but they were literally surviving in the streets to feed themselves. So it was important for me to show that story. And I don't want to give it away, the season finale, but it was important for it to end that way, because sometimes in life, even when you get it, there's still consequences to the things that you do. So I'm excited about the 3rd season, and season 2, you also see me, my character Amar, he's in rehab, trying to figure some things out. Figuring out why was he drinking and the pain, and then you see Bree character, she's still searching for her mom, and then Brashir character, he wanted to give up. He had a conversation with his dad. His dad rejects him. And I want to say, because God, I feel like, reminded me, sometimes people rejection is God protection. Meaning, when people reject you, is God allowing that to happen so he could protect you? But a lot of times when we get rejected, it doesn't feel good at all. And one of my friends reminded me, and she's going to be on my show in April. She was telling me that sometimes when things happen in your life, God wants us to, even in our broken areas, sometimes we don't want to go to God about things. And sometimes we feel like, oh, this is too small. But the truth is, God wants us, in Proverbs, it talks about leaning towards, in all our ways, acknowledging Him. So that means everything in our life, even the things that we think that we shouldn't acknowledge Him, we should. So even in those areas where we're broken and we don't understand why we're still hurting or why we're still healing, God wants us to come to Him with those things. And it reminded me there are things that I've forgiven people with, but the residue is still there. And what she reminded me was that people are imperfect for a reason, because if everybody was perfect, why would we need to go to God about anything? So even in those broken relationships, we can still go to God and He will heal our broken wounds, So it gives the opportunity for God to really show up and show out in our lives, So we got to even thank God even through the brokenness. And even when people hurt us, we got to remember He's protecting us sometimes. See, the thing about it is we don't see what He sees, and so we just got to really trust in Him, with all our heart and all our mind. And I know sometimes that's hard, but, it's possible. And so that's what season 2 is about. And I'm really, really excited. For me, it's really about people getting the message of hope, people getting the message of healing, forgiveness, people getting the message of God, and knowing that everything is possible. I love being able to have, the radio show and all these beautiful opportunities. But if I don't, do the things that I feel like God is leading me to do, it will all go in vain. Yep. So yes, I would love the Netflix opportunity or love the next project, but if I don't do what I feel like God is leading me to do, then all that stuff will go in vain, because I know the scripture in the Bible where it talks about gaining the whole world and losing my soul. So it's really about Him at the end of the day. When my best friend died, I could have died with him. I actually wanted to jump in the casket with him. And my grandma reminded me that, you still have people on this earth that still love you and that still was rooting for you. So I couldn't die because there was things that God still needed to do. He still needed to use me. You get what I mean? So I'm reminded that even like with Moses, Moses or whatever, he was standing outside of I believe it was the land of Canaan, if I could be wrong, and how he couldn't enter, but Joshua, I believe his name, he had to go and do what was left over for Moses to do. So I felt like even though my friend died, you get what I'm saying? It was still promises. There was still things that God still had to do with me, and I still had to continue to go into the land filled with, milk and honey, and I still had to continue, with my life. And it's one day, it's going to be the enemy, and it's going to be somebody that maybe that I might inspire that's going to have to continue to pick up, the legacy. So that's what it's all about for me. And while people are healing through the series, I'm still healing, and I believe iron sharpens iron. So while Jared gives me the opportunity, to speak about the series, it's helping other people, and I just pray that somebody's touched and somebody's blessed, and that's what it's about for me.
Well, you're absolutely right. A lot of people are going to be blessed through you with this show, with your series. There are so many people hurting out there. And, unfortunately, this past year has been treacherous for every one of us. And you're right. I want to touch base on something you said about the kids in school. And, when I was growing up, I'll be 60 years old in March, so I'm a little bit older than you. And when I was growing up, there was always that handful of kids, 1 or 2 or 3 in the whole school. And we all remember them. They would come to school dirty. I remember I was in Catholic school in New York, and I moved to New Jersey in 7th grade, and me and my brother begged my parents to let us go to the public school around the corner from our house, and they said yes. We couldn't deal with the Catholic schools anymore. But I remember grades 1 through 6 in New York, and I remember that handful of kids where they would come, their uniforms were ripped and dirty. They were always quiet and shy and scared. And Ricardo, we didn't know back then what they were probably going through at home.
Yes.
Okay. I used to steal them and bring them home for lunch because I walked home 2 blocks every day for lunch, and my mommy had to make me grilled cheese or I would be upset. So I would steal them, and I would get in trouble every time I did. And I remember the very last time I stole this little girl because she was crying. She didn't like the free school menu. And I said, come on, mommy's making grilled cheese. I'm going to take you home with me. She was so happy. So I stole her through the schoolyard, got to my mom's, and my mother says, you stole another kid? She's like, all right, come on, girls, let's eat really quick. I got to get you back. So anyway, I remember that day like it was yesterday. My mom brings us back, and the nun opens the door, and she's like, she stole another one, But the reason I'm bringing that up is this. I want to ask you something as a teacher, because there are reasons why I could never be in certain job positions. I ran some of the school nutritional program in one of big schools here, and I don't want to say the name of it online. And they threatened to bring me up on charges. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because I was hugging the children, and we're talking K through 3. Okay. They would come up to me and said, where's my hug? I want my hug. Okay. I would hug the children, and my brother and I got a huge mason jar, and we would put quarters in there, and it was filled. And I had it in a cabinet in one of the schools for the younger kids. And I told them that if these children were allowed to have their snacks, because some children couldn't because they were allergic to things. So we knew all that in the computer. So I said, if the child is allowed to have a snack, but their parents forgot to pay their lunch thing, and that means they can't get a snack that day, buy them a snack from this jar. Well, I was brought up on charges. Well, no, I shouldn't say I was brought up. They wanted to bring me up on charges because they said if I give a child a free snack, that's teaching them to steal.
Wow.
So do you know what I did? I got letters from about 50 parents and teachers in the school that I grew up with who knew me and my family forever. And every one of those parents said, Geri is not teaching my child how to steal, and Geri can hug my child anytime she wants. I brought all the letters in, put them on the desk, and said, there you go. They said, okay, well, we're okay. We're not, pressing any charges. And I quit. And that was my last day.
Wow.
So I want to ask you something as a teacher. What happens when you detect something? It could be anything. Maybe the child's not taken care of. They're coming into the school unkept or hungry. Or what is your role today, 2021? What are you allowed or not allowed to do?
I think it all depends on I heard you said something about having relationships with parents. I think it all depends on the relationship you have with the parents. I think sometimes I could say in the past, I built a good rapport with some of my parents where some parents didn't mind, me going out the way and, possibly, I remember one child I had bought sneakers for. And then, where I got a chance to, have a relationship with one of the kids. And then another kid where I actually have all my god kids. It's funny. He bonded with me. And this one kid actually found out who his father was just recently. And I'm so grateful. But I remember the mother was like, can you be his godson? Can you be his godfather? And I remember, spending time with him. And every time he would see me, Mr. Richard. And the teacher that I was working with, she was like, he's trying to get your attention. So he would act out in school sometimes because he was trying to get my attention. I didn't know, that he wanted that male attention,
Yes.
And and then you have situations sometimes where, some parents, might not necessarily want the extra help, So I guess it all depends on the relationship that you build. But I've had some good relationships with my parents where I've gone, a little above and beyond. It's reciprocated, and some of the kids to this day I still know them and have relationships with them. And so it's definitely a beautiful situation, and I'm so grateful. I actually wanted to go to school to do therapy at first, but I didn't know if I could turn it off.
Right.
Because I have a hard time already being a teacher, kind of turning it off. So I felt like doing the therapy would be a little bit more intimate. At least with the kids, you kind of have them for a year and you meet new kids. But, when you're doing therapy, you could be doing it for years, the same child. And it's like, I don't know if mentally I could turn that off. So, So yeah, I decided not to do that. But who's to say in the future if I would go back and do it? But yeah, I definitely get emotionally attached. That's just who I am, my heart.
Right.
But where I've definitely gone above and beyond, and a lot of the parents definitely appreciated it. And I see a lot of the kids that grew up in my community, they don't really have a lot of father figures or male presence. And if they do, a lot of male presence, is sad to say, it's negative. So I guess I didn't realize the person or who I was in their lives, because I'm only with them for a short amount of time, with like maybe 10 months, 9 to 10 months out of a whole year, and then the kids move on. And in some cases, some of the kids, they might not remember who I am because, the ages range from 3 to 5 years old, but some kids, they do actually remember me. So, it's a blessing.
I want to say something to you. These children are going to remember you for the rest of their lives. I have a little teacher story. Guys, I'm looking this way because I'm talking into the mic facing the phone here. That's why. So I'm not trying to not look into the screen. I'm going to tell you guys all a little teacher story. Like I said, I'm going to be 60 years old. So when I was in grammar school, I left grammar school at I guess 13. Right. So I was only in that school for 2 years, 12 and 13, because I moved from New York to there. I'm an artist, you know that, and I love to draw and everything. So since I was a kid, so I always gravitated towards my art teachers and was like the school artist. I would do all their ads for them, for the plays, whatever. Right. So about 3 years ago, at 57 years old, I'm doing a show on Facebook through Hamilton Radio. So I'm live on Facebook doing a show. And I can see people messaging me, right? They're watching the show. And I see a message from a Mr. Gray. And he says, Geri, do you remember me? And I said, excuse me, on the air, I said this. I said, my art teacher from Sharon School, Mr. Gray. And he said, yes. I said, I am going to private message you after this show. You changed my life. So we are in connection now. We even got to do some Zooms. And so we see each other now. He's 10 years older than me. And he actually married another teacher from back then. But I remember that he said to me in grammar school, you are the best artist in the school. Never give this up. Ricardo, that's what made me continue with the drive I had. That's what made me continue. And then when I went into art school, my junior year, they gave me 4 art classes my senior year to get into School of Visual Arts in New York back in the day, because not everyone was going to be accepted. There were going to be 4,000 apps and only 1,200 were going to be accepted. And I was one of them. So it was all because of my grammar school teacher who drove me. And and now I just want you to know that you will have this lasting impact on these kids forever. Because even you, I'm sure you probably remember certain things when you were younger about certain teachers, good, bad, or indifferent, right? Okay.
Yes.
So
yes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I was going to say, it's this teacher who changed my life. Her name is Mrs. Brown. And shout out to Mrs. Brown if you ever hear me. I had recently got dedicated back to the church that I was going to, but she was somebody I met when I was about 14 years old, and it was so interesting. Was she was going? I believe she was a teacher at Pace. I'm not sure, in Hamilton. And she said the year that I came, God had told her to come to the school, Trenton High. So I went to a school called Trenton Central High. So shout out to Trenton High.
Yep.
And she said the year that I was coming up there, God had told her, to leave the school she was at to come up there. So just so happened, she was gonna meet me my freshman year, and she literally just poured God into me, and she more so she was just a good person, and and just she would take me to church. She would talk to me about the love of God and stuff, and whether she was supposed to do it or not. I was always asking questions. That's the type of person I am. So I would be like, oh, how do you get to heaven, or what are you supposed to do, and stuff like that. So she was just somebody who's still today still a part of my life. I don't talk to her as much as I would like to, but she's actually my youth pastor. And I know that my life wouldn't be where it is if I didn't have her. I was just telling my aunt actually too, who was a part of my life, that every person, good or bad, that you encounter, is a part of your life, and I'm grateful for her life, my teacher, and for being there for me at that different time, because sometimes your parent could be saying something to you, and your teacher could say something, the same thing, and depending on the relationship you have, you can receive it from someone else completely different. So I was able to receive some things from her that at that time, being young, being a teenager, being a little rebellious, that I was able to receive it from her different from my parents. And she was just always there, through the good and the bad, and even through the trying times. So I can say teachers definitely, any teachers out there who may be going through something, even during this transition with virtual, just continue to be a light, because it's just, oh my goodness, it's just a responsibility that, these kids, we're important. And I didn't realize how important I was, until, some time, happened where I was like, wow, these kids, they really need us. So I just want to encourage any teacher that's out there that you definitely are important. We matter, even though we are underpaid, we definitely matter. So,
you matter more than most. Teachers. You matter more than most jobs. Trust me.
Yes.
Yes. So Ricardo, we're coming to the point of the interview where I want you to tell everyone how to reach out to you, how to find you, whatever it is you want to tell them.
Yes. Again, everybody, I would love for you guys to watch the web series. During this pandemic, I decided to release it, just step out on faith. There were times where I didn't know if that was the best decision. So I haven't been able to do a lot of, promo with the second series. But, it's out there, and I would love for you guys to watch it. I personally feel like it's better than season one. It gives us the opportunity to see what these kids are going through. It's a completely different generation. They have social media. And I really pray that parents, will talk to their kids. And again, I understand parents are out there making it happen for their kids, but talk to their kids, see what they're going through, what they're feeling, and let them know that they matter. So that's what I would want also from this Spirit season 2. Talk to your kids. So yes, season 2 is out on YouTube. It's Bitter and Broken web series. We would love to for you guys to check it out. We're also on the CTS TV network. I would love for you guys to check it out on there, seasons 1 and season 2. And then we're also on HamiltonRadio.net. Our season 1 is up, and I believe that's through Roku as well. So if you want to go to HamiltonNetwork.net, you can check us out on there. We would love for you guys to watch it on all the platforms. We're grateful anytime anyone reaches out and want our series to be on that platform. We're so grateful because it's growing, and I'm definitely blessed. We're also on Instagram, Hurt People Series. And also on Facebook, Hurt People, Bitter and Broken, the series. You can also find me on Facebook, Ricardo Richard. And you can follow me on Instagram with the same name, Ricardo Richard. And so blessed, we're so grateful. Season 3 will be a mini series. So it won't be as long as the first two seasons, but we're grateful, and I can't wait for you guys to see the new season. And in the next couple of things that I'm working on. So I thank you for everybody that's been supporting and watching, the people that's been inboxing me and telling me that they love this series. I'm so grateful. You guys don't know what it means and what it takes to create a show. So I'm so grateful when I get the positive feedback. And I even like the negative ones because
Yep.
it kind of propels me to do better as a creator. So I love all the feedback, and it challenges me and it makes me want to grow and be better. So thank you guys so much, for our view, for the comments, and for the support, and I want to thank my entire cast, for riding with me for the last, 4 or 5 years. And I'm excited about for the new actors and the new people that I meet along the journey, as the series, comes to a head. And I'm excited about the new actors that I'm going to meet along the journey and some of the same people that I still work with. But I want to thank the entire cast of the Hurt People franchise. I thank you guys so much, for dedicating your life and your time and your energy and bringing your kids on set, and the dedication that it took to make this project. It was a blessing, and I love everybody that was a part of my show. So I thank you, everybody that was a part of it. Thank you so much.
So now's where I want to tell everybody about my book. So I revised my book, sweetheart. So in 2016, it was this thin, guys. Okay. And 2020, I revised it. It's out. Okay. Guys, listen to me. I'm not an addict. I'm just an ass. I'd rather be a smart ass than a dumbass, because that's right. 30 years ago, this July coming, sweetheart, 30 years ago, I was a dumbass. And 30 years ago, God changed my life. I'll be celebrating that in July.
Amen.
Amen is right. And there are reasons why I will help anyone out there for free. If 2 people listening to this show, the first 2, cannot afford the book, and you message me, private message me, I'll even send you the book. All I care about is saving your life. If you have a family member struggling, reach out to me, message me, okay? I want everyone out there to know that they're not powerless, and they can be healed completely through God. There are 2 poems in here that I'm going to read to you, and this is why. This past year has been horrendous for everyone, and I've had friends who attempted suicide, and I've had a couple friends of friends who not only attempted it, but completed it, and they're no longer with us. A lot of people are struggling with depression. A lot of people are drinking too much, right? All that. Addiction has been rampant through this more than ever. So I want to read 2 poems, and that's how we're going to close this show. And I hope to God that this touches someone out there and can also help save a life. Before I read these poems, I want to thank you so much, Ricardo, for everything that you're doing, for being a part of all my shows, for now hosting your own through O&E. Everything that you're doing, I want to thank you for this. Are you hosting a show on Hamilton Radio as well?
No, not at the time. No.
Okay, but you'll be on Roku. Okay, cool.
Yes,
cool.
Yes, we on Roku. Yes.
Okay, so again, I want to thank you. I love you. I think you're incredible. Never ever stop doing what you're doing. You're listening to God, and you are saving lives. Okay, and you will impact these children forever. They will never forget you. Okay, so I have to say that to you because I love you, and I will never forget you.
Oh, thank you.
So guys, here are the 2 poems that I want everyone to really listen to, please. One is called Put Down the Gun. I want to give a shout out to Magic Man. He's in the chat room. He's saying peace and abundant divine blessings. He's listening to the show. Magic Man, we love you. I want to tell everyone real quick about Magic Man. His name is Huni Bakatun. And he was enshrined in 2020 into the Internet International Hall of Fame for radio show hosts. He is a fellow friend and host of both me and now Richard, Ricardo Richard, who's now on O&E as well. So Magic Man, we love you, and he's sending his love as well. So thank you for that, Magic Man. So we're going to close now, like I said, with these two poems. It's very, very important that you listen carefully. This poem is called Put Down the Gun. I had to have this purple gun just in case my life was done. I kept it safe locked in my room because I was filled with gloom and doom. Yes, there were times that I just knew if I loaded it up what I could do, but I kept on hearing that gentle voice, put down that gun, you have that choice. Life may seem hard at the end of the day. That's when you need to really pray. Dear Father, I beg you to show me the truth. How can life be so bad when I'm only a youth? Get rid of that gun and go take a shower. Ask someone for help. You do have that power. That poem is out there for everyone, whether you're a youth or an adult. Guys, listen, your life is not worthless. Please, please, please know that. There is always someone out there ready to listen to you. Okay? So please, I'm begging you all, put down that gun. The second poem is called Change Your Choice. And this poem is really for the addict and for family members and friends who judge that addict. And I'm asking you never, ever, ever to do that, okay? So here we go. Change your choice. Huni Bakatoon, I want to thank you. He's sending me out a little nice message for me as well. I love you, my friend. Thank you for that. The Jersey Julie calls me. So here we go. Change your choice. I had a life-changing moment that I knew had to be. The only way to change things was to first start with me. So I looked in the mirror and woke up one day and thought to myself I needed to pray. So I asked God to change me, to help me stay strong, to clean up my mess, to right what's been wrong. I cleaned up my diet and I cleaned up my room. I cleaned up all habits with this old dirty broom. I kept going forward and never looked back. I refused to derail, stayed on the right track. I realized my worth and all that did matter through my selfish behavior and the lives I had shattered. I finally decided at 30 years old to stop abusing my body, my mind, heart, and soul. My life-changing choice that I had once made. Almost 30 years now, guys. My debt has been paid. So you read all my thoughts on how to stay clean. It's all or nothing, my friend. There's no in between. To live or to die is a choice you must make. Your life is not worthless and you're not a mistake. One day at a time is a slogan you've heard. It works if you work it while applying his word. For you to get healthy, for your mind not to fail, escaping reality will keep you in jail. With addictive behavior, sex, drugs, food, or money, substituting addictions, now isn't that funny? I'm not an addict, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. May the good Lord bless and guide you guys. So I just want to let everyone know that not only did I post this show on Facebook, please share it. I also posted series 2 of Hurt People on my Facebook. So please share that as well and check it out. Okay? Again, guys, thank you for listening. Please share this show. You have help out there. There is always someone willing to listen. You can make a phone call. Please, please do that. All right. And with that, I want to say thank you again to Ricardo. I love you.
Thank you. I love you.
And here we go.